What's going on, everyone? So today I got something pretty exciting because we are diving into an old classic instead of a brand new leader. I shouldn't say too old because it was just with set 3, but we get to play with some brand new cards from set 4 within that list and see what we're able to do with our old friend Django Red. And there's a fun couple of cards here that I cannot wait to show you all, or at least show some gameplay of. Before we dive into the list and talk about some of those new cards, a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting the channel, and thank you for joining me with a bunch of those set 4 tournaments that we've been doing. And also, I have a TCG player link in the description down below for all of your Star Wars limited card needs. But let's dive into Django Red here and see what we're doing. Now, I will say, for those of you that have been watching the channel, and for those of you that participated a lot with set 3, this is going to be no surprise. There's a lot of cards in here that you're very used to. And of course, Django himself has that synergy with friendly units dealing damage to enemy units so that you can exhaust them. So any unit that's got this when played to deal damage is kind of interesting, right? And we got a couple of them that really can do some work. Obviously, with Tarkin Town, dealing damage to enemy units can suddenly lead to actually taking it out, which is kind of the name of the game. In the early game, we dominate with Tarkin Town and some early damaging units. Of course, that means that you're going to see some classics like ISB Agent, Cartel Spacer, Crafty Smuggler, and TIE Silencer in the early game. We didn't get that many early game units from set 4 to fit within this deck, in my opinion. But that's okay, because we've got the classics in 3 resource slot. You got the P-38s, the Lurking TIE Phantoms, the 7th Fleet Defenders that you're all used to. In the late game, we've got the Ruthless Raiders and Fitz Fire Sprays immediately readied up, or just direct damage with the Ruthless Raider. And then to pull all the space units together, we got that triple Dark Raid, which is exceptional. Of course, to back all of that up, we've got Surprise Strikes and Breaking Ins to go ahead and pump in extra damage with some of our units. We got Daring Raids to combo with Target Town to finish off units. We got No Good to Be Dead for a little bit of tempo action. But what about new cards? All that's classic, all that stuff that we had expected. Well, starting us off, let's move our way up from the bottom. Zygerian Starhopper, another early game play. This one's a 2-3, similar to Cartel Spacer, but instead of getting an exhaust, we get that when defeated to do 2 indirect damage to a player. That is actually pretty interesting in an aggressive deck that can really finish off units or just pump in a little bit of extra damage to the base. Houndstooth on 3 resources. This is kind of like the new space version of the old Boba Fett. The original unit Boba Fett, where anytime it's attacking an exhaust unit that didn't enter play this phase, you suddenly deal damage before they do. So works really well with Django's ability. If you happen to have like a Cartel Spacer exhaust unit, you can finish it off with Houndstooth, and suddenly you don't take any damage in your Houndstooth. That can be pretty nice. Also, it's just a 4-powered unit, which is pretty solid as well. We have the Von Reg's TIE Interceptor. This is more of just like an aggressive unit. I found it to be just consistently a little bit stronger than Punishing One. With Surprise Strike, you just get a 4-4 instead of a 3-4, which can be pretty nice. So all that kind of leans towards getting a little bit of value there. But then we start to dive into some really fun ones. At 4 resources, we have IG-2000. A 3-4 comes down, deals 1 damage to each of up to 3 units. This can exhaust 3 units if Django's flipped. That is incredible. Also, we're going to be dealing a lot of damage here, a lot of damage there. This can potentially just finish off units in some cases. We've got Boba Fett. This is really nice because, as I mentioned, we're going to be dealing a lot of damage here, damage there. Boba Fett piloting onto a unit, giving that +2/+3, but also if it's a transport, you can deal 2 damage to a unit. That is incredible for finishing off units, especially following up P-38s, for example. I will say, when it's played as an upgrade, you get this. So it's not actually being played as a unit. So you're not actually getting the exhaust, but it can finish off units, which is really nice. And then, probably the most exciting card / cards that we get from set 4, War Juggernaut and Devastator. War Juggernaut, a 6-cost ground unit, 3/7, but gets +1/+0 for each damage unit. And when you play it, you deal 1 damage to each of any number of units, which means this could be triple dark rated out and come down as like a 6/7 or a 7/7 or an 8/7 or something crazy. And if you have Django out, you can potentially exhaust their entire battlefield, which is incredible. And Devastator, a little bit later on in the game, they can come down, deal a bunch of indirect damage to a couple of units or just a specific unit or just the base, and then smack in for 9 points of damage. Can't wait to see War Juggernaut in action specifically, but also just the overall deck. Let's dive into it and let's see what we can do. Okay, starting us off, we've got a matchup up against, well, Luke Colorless. Not something that I necessarily expected. We did have that ISB agent to potentially go for a little bit of value onto the X-Wing, but that would have prevented us from going ahead and playing a full use of our resources, which I think is really important. And here, I'm just going to go ahead and attack into their base for 3. And we'll see what my opponent decides to do here. That's a Captain Tarkin, which makes my play extremely easy. We're just going to go P-38, deal a damage to the X-Wing, and we're going to finish it off with Tarkin Town. So now they don't have the Tarkin or the value from Tarkin, and they don't have a space unit to continuously get some value out of their units. So happy with that one. Obviously, if we had the ability to, I would have loved to go ahead and really take advantage of this play by Tarkin towning their unit and exhausting it, which would have been really nice. Now here we can actually go ahead and finish off that Red 5 with our P-38. Just go ahead and kill it off, which is really nice. Tack in for 3. We'll play a 7th Fleet. We'll play an ISB agent. We'll reveal a Daring Ray just to deal another damage to our opponent's unit. And look at that, double Fetz Fire Spray. Not what I wanted to see at all for this turn. Of course, we have a few other options like the Daring Raid and the Surprise Strike still, so that's not too bad. And we do have that Jango Fett to get down this turn. I will resource one of them because I don't want to resource the other units that I can actually get some value out of. Here, I'm going to go ahead and finish off their Y-Wing. I see no reason not to here, just in case they have a pilot. They got another Y-Wing. That's okay because what we'll do is attack into the Tarkin. I will exhaust. Go ahead and deploy Jango, kill Tarkin, and kill the Y-Wing without using a single unit. Boom, boom, and I suppose I just won't use anything. I guess I'll Daring Raid their base. It makes sense to go ahead and do so. But now we have all the units in the world available to us. They have no units on their side of the battlefield. I know we're playing a little bit more controlling in this game, but I think that's going to benefit us in the long run. They've got an A-Wing. That's totally fine. I'll just go ahead and finish it off. Seems pretty simple to go ahead and do so. I know it's a little bit odd just kind of killing all of our opponent's units, but that's just kind of the name of the game here. They can deploy Luke, and we'll just exhaust it. Make sure they can't do anything too crazy. They're going to claim initiative. We're going to get in for 3, get in for another 3, play a Fetz Fire Spray, and then attack in for 5. So we are looking quite nice here. Triple Dark Raid looks excellent. They're saying GG, and they can't really do anything about that. So just constant exhausting, constant controlling of the ground and space just led to kind of an easy win. We didn't really get to see any new cards in that matchup. It was just old classic Jango. The IG is something that we ended up resourcing because I wasn't sure what they were going to play. So I just felt like we had to resource that. And Boba Fett early, not exactly what we want because we want the versatility of a lot of different cards. Into our next game, we got a matchup against Rose Tico, which is kind of interesting. This one could actually be a bad matchup for us just because of them being able to heal up all the potential damage that we could do to them. So we will see what happens in this match. I'm going to resource this Sigarian Starhopper, and I will play the P-38 just to exhaust this Resistance X-Wing. They're probably going to respond by healing it, but that's going to take up an action, which means that we will still maintain initiative, which also means that if we go ahead and play something else, it's going to be pretty nice in the next turn. Ooh, no, they're going to just let us Tarkin Town the Resistance X-Wing, huh? I will go ahead and do so. And then our Crafty Smuggler will eventually trade with the Village Protectors, which is totally fine. I think they should probably have healed. I didn't expect them to do what they just did. We're going to go ahead and attack. We'll go ahead and pass. Got an ISB agent, which doesn't actually have an event in hand. I think Lurking TIE Phantom's pretty bad as well, so we'll just go ahead and resource that one. Opponent is thinking. They're thinking. Cartel Spacer can go ahead and exhaust something, which could be pretty useful later on. But I guess we will have to find out what they're doing. Bright Hope, huh? Okay, Bright Hope coming in. Not too bad. Do they return the Village Protectors? I would imagine not. I think it's way more valuable just to maintain the 2 damage here. Come on, opponent. You got one choice or the other. Okay. I think that's the smart play. We'll just go ahead and finish off their unit there. We'll see if they decide to pass here. They're going to claim initiative. Okay. So now what we'll do is just go ahead and pilot this onto the P38. Whoops. I meant to pilot this, deal 1 to the Bright Hope, then finish it off with the P38. Then we play the Cartel Spacer out, and then we will pass. Got ourselves a Ruthless Raider, which could end up being pretty nice. But I think we'll just go ahead and resource the ISB agent so that we can go 7th Fleet plus Surprise Strike in this turn. And then Ruthless Raider is going to be a nice follow-up after that. I feel like we're kind of just finishing off a bunch of units here. Boba Fett came in clutch because we ended up getting through that Bright Hope without too much trouble. And we're still left with a 5/5 unit, which is really quite nice. See what their opponent's going to do at this point. No damage has been done to either base. Kind of just positioning for the board, which we obviously have a really, really strong position for that board right now. Let's go to get in for 5. And we'll see what my opponent's going to do. They've got Sabine's Masterpiece, huh? Okay. Let's go ahead and attack in for 2. They're going to R2 onto Sabine. Masterpiece. Sure, we're going to go 7 Fleet Defender. And then... Ooh, they have a Resistance X-Wing, huh? We're going to deploy JANGO. And then if they just go ahead and attack JANGO here, I'm just going to claim initiative here. Oh, yeah, let's claim initiative. War Juggernaut, huh? Oh my gosh. It's happening, guys. It is happening. We're going to exhaust their entire board. Woo! Let's go. I am excited for this one. I'm very happy that I ended up taking initiative. But check this out, guys. The brand new War Juggernaut. Boom. We will slap that down. We will even deal damage to its own War Juggernaut. And then we will actually deal damage to our JANGO here. Just exhaust everything. Oh my gosh, is that nasty? That was just incredible. They're going to Rivals Fall, which does basically nothing. I could not care less. Exhausting their entire board was absolutely insane. And we're going to finish off the Sabine's Masterpiece. And we're going to finish off the Resistance X-Wing. We're going to still be left with a 7/6 War Juggernaut. But that was incredible. That was game-changing. Like, yes, we probably had a good chance of winning regardless, but our opponent not being able to attack with anything this turn and getting set up with a 7/6 on the following turn is just ridiculous. It's just incredibly good. War Juggernaut, especially with JANGO's flipped, just doing that entire board exhaust is insane. Rivals Fall, really kind of not scary at all. I want to resource the IG because we can go ISB Agent, Reveal, Exhaust, plus a Ruthless Raider. But we will see. I have the high ground. Oh, come on now. I don't care about that. I have the high ground. Sure. That is some jank for sure. Now they're going to kill their own Rose Tico, I guess. Okay. Not that they didn't really have any other option, but War Juggernaut, I mean, that was just incredible. That was just, I mean, that was literally the goal. And we just did some work. That and Boba Fett really doing some work this game. I was kind of convinced, like, okay, our opponent's going to do some piloting. They got the Resistance X-Wing. They got the Sabine's Masterpiece. All of these seems classic. But then when they started playing Rivals Fall and I have the high ground, I'm not so sure of what's going on over there. But our opponent, I don't know, maybe is just... I don't know. Do they AFK? Do they concede? I mean, this game's over. I'll just move on to the next one. Yeah, they disconnected. Okay. Good game to our opponent, I guess. Into our next match, we're going to go ahead and take a mulligan here. Not a fantastic hand, realistically. Into... Wow, that is one of the worst hands I have seen so far with JANGO. We're up against one of my good old friends here, content creator friend in Mobius. You might have seen me participate in some of his videos. Real good stuff over there. I'm just trying to think of like, how do we go ahead and actually try to win this game at this point? I feel like we're super far behind. Like, it is pretty rough for us. So I'm not liking that. We're going to go ahead and claim initiative. They're going to go and deal 1 to get rid of that 7th fleet. Sure. We got a war juggernaut. I mean, it's just that we are in such a poor position at this point. Let's go IG, and we're going to deal 1 damage to each of these. No on the ability, yes on the ability for the interceptor. And then we can use Tarkin Town to finish off the interceptor. Ugh. Okay, they put a Concord Dawn interceptor. They're going to go get in for some damage. Let's go ahead and deal some to our Tarkin Town. Deal 3 there. And we'll just claim initiative. It's a little bit awkward, but I think this is the play, because then we'll be able to go ahead and put the Boba Fett onto the IG-2000. And we'll be able to finish off that Y-Wing, which is quite nice. And then we'll have Triple Dark Raid for a bunch of different situations. They're going to hit the 7th fleet, probably. Oh, they're not going to hit the 7th fleet. I'm a little bit surprised on that one. I thought they were going to hit the 7th fleet, to be honest. Triple Dark Raid can't hit like Ruthless Raider or Fett's Fire Spray. We can hit all matter of different units for us. Open Fire, really not worried about that one. Triple Dark Raid, let's see what we grab. I guess we'll grab Lurking TIE Phantom. Not that it's exciting or anything like that, but we do want to finish off this Y-Wing here. Let's go ahead and kill that Y-Wing. We'll get in for 1. Flip Jango, get in for 3. Pass. Got ourselves a P-38 and a Fett's Fire Spray. And we have that War Juggernaut, which does look pretty good here. So we'll see what my opponent decides to deploy. P-38. Not really what I want to be playing, but could be what I play. Ether Sprite, huh? Okay. Let's go ahead and get in with the Jango then. And then we'll play a War Juggernaut, and we'll go boom, 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 boom. Just deal 1 damage to everything so that we have a massively powered up War Juggernaut. We'll attack for 1, pass. We got a Triple Dark Ray, which does look pretty good. Ether Sprite is pretty good against us, so that was a nice card to see. They got a Vanquish. They're going to take down our unit, which is totally fine. Here, I think we'll just attack into Luke. Just exhaust it. Then we will go ahead and play a Fett's Fire Spray. Kill their Ether Sprite. Daring Raid the Luke, and then attack the Luke. Get rid of all their units on the board, and then we are pretty well situated for the remainder of the game. I think I'm going to get rid of the Surprise Strike, because I think I want more options to exhaust things and deal a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there. Let's just go ahead and get in for 3 with Jango. Don't think they're going to be likely to have some sort of ground unit. They're going to claim initiative. We're going to go Triple Dark Raid, hopefully hit. Aha, Ruthless Raider is exactly what I wanted to see. And then we're going to go into an attack into the red 5, get in for 5 into the base, and then just play a P-38. And now we got double Ruthless Raider in hand. I think we've managed to go ahead and get through this game. Despite us starting with an ISB agent with no events, we still managed to get it. They got the Rivals Fall, which is fine. We're going to attack in for 3. Attack in for 3. And they know we have the Ruthless Raider because of the Triple Dark Raid. It was pretty close, though. That Concord Dawn Interceptors did mess up my plan. The Rivals Fall and Vanquish don't really work too well against the Jango deck, so that's kind of unfortunate for them. Just how the deck is constructed didn't match up. I think we're pretty favored. But, I mean, it was close. We definitely had to get some help with that War Juggernaut. I mean, that War Juggernaut just multiple times now we've seen it just completely exhaust everything. And Boba Fett was really critical there. Onto that IG-2000, killing the Concord Dawn Interceptors and getting past that Sentinel so we can finish off the Y-Wing. That was a really important turn as well. So both cards, the Boba Fett and the War Juggernaut, really showing up. And then the IG-2000 just, in general, being able to exhaust a bunch of things and get a little bit of damage on that. The combination of IG-2000 plus the Boba Fett is what took out that Y-Wing. So I'm really liking the new cards, guys. Really looking good in Jango. Into our next matchup. And we've got a matchup against Darth Vader. I'm going to mulligan this one, hopefully hit something a little bit better. This one is a little bit better. I do like the P38, and I also like the ISB agent. Hopefully being able to take out, yes, something like a TIE fighter. That is exactly what I wanted to see. Now we're going to be able to claim initiative and play out a a P38 to knock out the first order TIE fighter, which is going to be just insane. Like, that is just a devastating blowing up against the Darth Vader deck. So we're going to go ahead and knock out that Special Forces TIE fighter, or the first order TIE fighter. And I mean, that is a great start. That is a fantastic start for us. We also have the TIE silencer, which was an option, but we're going to go ahead and claim initiative here. And we're just going to knock out, ooh, another P38. Nasty. Let's just go play P38 and take out the Kijimi patrollers. There's not really any reason not to. Yeah, we can just ignore their TIE advanced at this point. They're going to hit for one. We're going to attack for one. They're going to use this, which they can't because of the fact that it's not a non-token unit. They're undoing their action. Not sure why. Maybe they don't realize that the Darth Vader action doesn't work with just tokens. So I guess we'll wait. We'll see what our opponent's got. This is like a devastating matchup for them. There's going to be so many. As soon as I saw the videos, like, there's going to be so many one toughness units. That P3, it's going to be insane. ISB agent's going to be insane. IG 2000 is going to be insane. War Juggernaut's going to be insane. And they probably just left the game. Like, I think they just left. Like, the game's over, realistically. We have multiple units on the battlefield, all of which have some sort of death trigger. We have Tarkin Town available. We have Jango Fett deploying next turn. We have Triple Dark Raid. And yeah, they left. So I guess GG in like 20 seconds. Into our next matchup. And we got a decent hand. The question is, do I want to mulligan for potentially a stronger hand? And I'm not sure what to expect from Trench, but I think a 3-power unit on turn 1 plus the ability to play a 7th Fleet Defender or Houndstooth on turn 2 is going to be good. The question is, do I want to resource the 7th Fleet or do I want to resource the Houndstooth? We're going to give Houndstooth a try here. So we're going to go ahead and keep that over what we got in terms of 3 drops in the 7th Fleet. They're going to go Trench. They're going to go ahead and start shift. Go ahead and start digging through their hand, discarding the Darth Vader. Boba Fett as our pickup here. I don't know if I really care for Boba Fett. I suppose I'd rather have Boba Fett just in case for that Houndstooth. If that's going to be a little bit stronger, it might. They can go on an attack. They can't use it to hit the silencer. So we're just going to play out a Houndstooth. And I mean, we've kind of dominated the space arena now. It's going to be really tough for them to come back. They're going to Maklunki, take out the Houndstooth, I suppose, get it to heal 1. That's definitely a strong combination of cards for them. So good on them to do some work there. Let's see what they have afterwards. Nothing. Okay. So War Juggernaut, not too bad. I think I want to just get in for 3 here and see what my opponent's going to do. Maklunki is definitely a strong situation, or a strong card for them to have. Devastator, huh? Let's go Triple Dark Raid. Ooh, and we can grab a War Juggernaut, huh? We want Ruthless Raider. War Juggernaut will be a 5/7. I think Ruthless Raider is just better. We will go ahead and exhaust that Salacious Crumb. We'll go ahead and attack in for 4. Do I want a Tarkin Town? I guess I'll Tarkin Town. I don't really see a situation where Tarkin Town's going to be better than it is in that situation. So I guess I'll just go ahead and use that. Oh, I didn't mean to resource that Crafty Smuggler. Okay, it's fine. Overwhelming Barrage coming in. Sure. They're going to knock out the Silencer. We're going to go ahead and play our P38 just to exhaust that Super Laser Tech. They can go ahead and use Trench if they want to, but they're not going to be able to get Trench down this turn. Go ahead and flip over Jango, get in some damage. And we are going to play out Boba Fett as a pilot. And we don't need to deal damage to anything, so we'll pass on damage. Their Super Laser Technician is going to die anyway, so it's not like that really matters. IG 2000, probably the resource here. Got a lot of 6 drops here that are pretty decent. I think we're just going to go with the Ruthless Raider, though. Palpatine's return on what? Vader? Okay. Vader's going to come down. We'll see what they have. What can they bring alongside Vader is the question. Okay, they got a Sentinel. Interesting, interesting. I suppose we will just go ahead and attack. Not really anything else that we can do. They can't deploy trench. What? Dogfight? Okay. That is not something that I had expected. I think War Juggernaut's not going to be good in this match. I did not expect the dogfight. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Triple Dark Ray comes out for them. I guess we'll see what they have. Resupply carrier is not going to really do a whole lot. We're just going to go ahead and Ruthless Raider, exhaust their resupply carrier, so it's just going to bounce back to their hand. I mean, this is the problem with Trench, is that you don't get a leader deploy. There's like so little things that you can really do to interact with the board. And yeah, I mean, they're going to deploy lead. They're going to go ahead and we're going to discard 2 cards. Yeah, discard. Discard. They can choose a Bazine or a 7 Fleet. And again, Trench, what are you going to grab? Something pretty weak? Like, that's just the name of the game, right? Attack in for 4, attack in for 5. We're going to have double Ruthless Raider on the battlefield, and we will have a Surprise Strike and Breaking In left over. So, I mean, this game just feels extremely over. I don't really see our opponent getting out of this at all. Even if they have something like a Devastator, right? Even if they have something like a Devastator, because we have Breaking In to give Saboteur past that Devastator, for example. This was pretty... This kind of shows, like, the downsides of Trench. Like, yes, they played a command cunning villainy game, which is totally fine, but they just didn't have something to really recoup the board. Granted, this probably would have been the same even if they were running something like Asajj or JANGO or anything really, because we just had such a dominant Space Force. But this is just why I'm not a huge fan of Trench. He's a really cool character, but definitely not something that I think is going to be that strong. So GG to our opponent, and we will move on to the next match. All right, and my opponent from the previous game wanted to go ahead and run it back, but this time with their blue Trench. We'll see if that ends up any different. I will say, I think they're going to have a better chance just right off the bat, simply because it is a villainy vigilance deck. So we will see what they've got. My guess is they took initiative here because they're going to follow that up with a Power of the Dark Side. Oop, there's a Power of the Dark Side. Who would have expected that one? Yep, Houndstooth comes down. We're going to pass after they claim initiative. We got a P-38, a Zagirian Starhopper. I think the Surprise Strike is looking kind of awkward, but I mean, they probably have like a takedown or heck, another Power of the Dark Side. Sure. P-38 is going to come down. I mean, this is literally just every single villainy vigilance deck, really. Is you're just going to be expecting a ton of controlling cards. I think Trench does fit better with this type of style, so that's cool to see. We picking up... Oh, wait, whoops. I didn't mean to resource the... I always do that. I always resource the Crafty Smuggler on accident. I was going to play Crafty Smuggler plus Lurking TIE Phantom, because Lurking TIE Phantom is obviously going to be really good in this version, or against this Vigilance Villainy deck. We're going to play out the TIE Phantom. They are putting Entrenched on the TIE Phantom. Okay, we're going to deploy Jango. Just get in some damage here. And we're going to Surprise Strike in for 6. Take a little chunk out of their life total. We've got a War Juggernaut, which I don't think is really going to be all that impactful here. But we're going to be able to get in some more damage here. Power of the Dark Side is immediately turned off. Merciless Contest is turned off. They're going to bounce everything. We're going to get in for 3. And do I want to go? I think I'm going to go Lurking TIE Phantom plus P-38 again instead of the Fet's Fire Spray, because Lurking TIE Phantom is just so strong against them in general. I'm going to resource one of the Fet's Fire Sprays. I think I'd rather have the 7th Fleet, but I guess we will find out here. Okay, let's go ahead and attack in for 3. Fleet Interdictor can be interesting. Trench, discarding a card. We're going to go triple Dark Raid. Hopefully grab... Ooh, do I want to grab War Juggernaut and get in for a lot of damage, or a Ruthless Raider? I think Ruthless Raider is going to be a little bit stronger here. Because we're going to be able to get in a ton of damage. So we're going to go attack in. They can go ahead and defeat the Elite P-38, I suppose. And then we're going to go ahead and they can't defeat the Lurking Typhon, which is probably what they chose. Yeah. We're going to get in for a little bit. And then we're going to play out a 7th fleet and we'll pass. ISB agent, not exactly that strong. They could have a super laser blast here, which would be good, but then we'll follow up with Fet's fire spray, so that's going to be excellent. Ooh, they have a Snoke, which is obviously pretty strong. We're going to go Fet's fire spray plus breaking in for 5, and then we'll pass. That might be the difference maker. Snoke is pretty good. That is one of the answers to that TIE Phantom. I think looking back, what I should have done on the prior turn was definitely breaking in with a P-38 instead. That was definitely a mistake. I don't know why I hadn't done that. Breaking in with the P-38 would have just gotten me an extra damage. That was just a mistake. And then I could have attacked with that the other couple of units. We're gonna go 7th Fleet here. Play out P-38, and we'll pass. Surprise Strike gives us lethal with both units. They're gonna have to have like a Snoke or an Evacuate or a Super Laser Blast again. Let's see what they have. Super Laser Blast. We're going to go Hound's Tooth plus Cartel Spacer again. Entrenched, huh? They're fighting. I mean, they've got a lot of units here. Ooh, that is exactly what I don't want to see. A bunch of events is really, really bad for us. Vigilance here. Going to go ahead and heal. What are they going to defeat? Okay, we're going to claim initiative. There's not much else that I can do, realistically. Okay, so we can go ahead and discard a couple cards. We will discard, I suppose, Super Laser Blast and I guess Change of Heart, and they can choose Make an Opening or Power of the Dark Side. Power of the Dark Side looking pretty bad against the Hound's Tooth. What do they grab? I guess do they not have to tell us? That makes sense. Let's not resource anything here. So they don't have a Super Laser Blast anymore in their deck because all 3 of them are gone. They're gonna attack in. Sure. We're gonna go Fet's Fire Spray. We're gonna see if they have something else here to deal with that. Looking back, I should not have resourced that Fet's Fire Spray either. I think this game would have been over though if I hadn't made that mistake with breaking in. Perilous Position comes down. We're going to claim initiative. And they got a Cad Bane. They're going to capture. That's pretty good. Ooh. Cartel Spacer. We've got the Ruthless Raider, though, which looks pretty nice. I suppose we will just go ahead and exhaust the trench. Simply because the Django, I think I would rather them attack because they can't really afford to attack because I'm going to get back a unit. Power of the Dark Side. Okay, we'll go ahead and defeat that Ruthless Raider. We'll play a Cartel Spacer now. And I mean, they're trying to control, but it's like we are still in this game despite our opponent having a pretty nice hand. They got Make an Opening. Sure. Is this a leader? Yeah, it is a leader unit. I'm like, does it count as a leader even though it's not been epic actioned? I suppose so. Takedown, sure. We will deal 2 to the trench again. And they're trying, right? But we just drew the Triple Dark Raid. Like, it's really good for us. Get in for Surprise Strike. And now we have the Daring Raid finish. So the game is over. It's pretty brutal for them, right? It's pretty brutal for them. Definitely mistakes made on my part just because I was trying to figure out what they're doing, but I was trying to figure out exactly what to play around. It's one of those things where when you're recording and you're like sitting here with a new deck of your own and a new deck of your opponents, I'm like, okay, what could they have? And how do I not mess up? But I definitely made mistakes that game. And my opponent, as far as I could tell, they didn't really do anything wrong. I just don't know what people are really trying to play in these decks. Like the controlling decks having like Entrenched and Perilous Position and things like that. I'm not really expecting that, or like Fleet Interdictor. That's one of those things where obviously when you're playing these best of ones, you just never know sometimes. Super Laser Blast, Vigilance, Power of the Dark Side, those are easy to expect. Snoke is kind of one of those ones where some people are playing it, some people are not. Definitely something that I was not expecting in this situation, but we ended up getting there. And really good for our opponent, or really well played for our opponent, because they were absolutely awesome to play against, and they were a good sport. So big shout out to Keebler, guys. Big shout out. That was fun. Not a trench believer, but I respect the trench grind, okay? I respect the trench grind. And what better way to finish out a Django Red deck than a mirror of a Django Red deck? Let's go ahead and just resource this ISB, and I think we'll resource this Surprise Strike. I'm imagining they're just going to go Tarkin Town my unit on turn 1. I don't really want to be playing ISB Agent after I passed. If they're going to go ahead and just Tarkin Town on turn 1, they have double ISB Agent? That's incredible. Well, that's not something that I necessarily expected, and that's really good for my opponent. They had double ISB Agent and the event to do so, and they get to keep the Tarkin Town, so really, really strong stuff from my opponent. Good stuff there. We play our 7th Fleet Defender. We're going to go ahead and claim initiative, and we'll see what they've got. P-38, obviously a great one. What do we do here? I guess resource the War Juggernaut and play out a Cartel Spacer, exhausting the P-38. Cartel Spacer coming down, exhaust the P-38. Daring Raid, huh? Wow. It is crazy what is going on here. My opponents just had all the answers right now. That is real good for them. Let's go ahead and claim initiative, and we'll see what my opponent's going to do after the fact. Zygerian Starhopper, sure. Let's go ahead and probably resource this Surprise Strike. And then I will just go ahead and get in with the Cartel Spacer. And we'll see if they go ahead and just Tarkin Town. I probably would just Tarkin Town at this point. You're going to flip Django. I'm also going to flip Django. Sure, they're going to exhaust it. I'm going to go IG and then just exhaust everything that they have. And then we're going to claim initiative. Ooh, First Order Stormtrooper, huh? That one is an odd one to see. Okay, we got Triple Dark Raid, P-38. I think Fet's Fire Spray is actually pretty weak in this spot. Let's go ahead and just attack through the Zygerian Starhopper here. And I will have us take the 2 damage. Our opponent didn't resource anything. So they're definitely a more aggressive variant of Django, which would make sense as to how this game has kind of happened so far. They're going to exhaust. Sure. We're just going to go ahead and... Do I want a Triple Dark Raid and hopefully hit like a Devastator? I can also hit a War Juggernaut. Yeah, I'm convinced Triple Dark Raid. Oh, man, that is a horrible Triple Dark Raid. Okay. Well, not much else that we can do. I was really hoping... I mean, we have so many good hits. We have a War Juggernaut in there. We have 2 Ruthless Raiders. We even have 2 Fet's Fire Sprays, and we have a Devastator. So definitely an unfortunate circumstance there. Here, I'm just going to go with a P-38 on that missile platform, exhaust. And then we'll just attack in for 3 here. Getting in for 3 into their base. They can attack with that First Order Stormtrooper. We'll take 1 on our TIE Silencer since it's just going to bounce back to our hand. And we'll just go ahead and claim initiative. That thing has been Triple Dark rated, so that's just going to go away after this turn. War Juggernaut, that's what I wanted to see. That is exactly what I wanted to see realistically. That is incredible. An incredible draw. We're going to go boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to go ahead and hit our P-38. Actually, just our Django and our War Juggernaut. So we're going to go exhaust, and we will take 1 to the War Juggernaut. I take it back. I didn't realize this is a when defeated trigger as well, or I forgot that this is when defeated. I shouldn't have taken a damage to our War Juggernaut because obviously it was going to take a damage anyways. So Surprise Strike in for a little bit of damage. Sure. Oh, wow. Okay. I respect it from our opponent. They're kind of forced to. Go and attack in for 3. Attack in for 3. And I think we'll just go ahead and daring raid away that unit. Here, I'll just take the 3 damage into the base, and we'll pass. Triple Dark Raid is obviously a fantastic draw. We'll see what my opponent has. Hot Shot Blaster, huh? Okay, let's just go ahead and get in for 3. We have lethal on board. Sneak attack, huh? If I go Triple Dark Raid, this game could be like completely over because I could miss. So I think the guaranteed play here, because if they attack, we could lose to Daring Raid. So I think the guaranteed play here is to actually trade with this guy, hit the Django. I don't like this play, mind you. We're going to attack the Django, and we're going to Ruthless Raider away the Django. Not that I really wanted to go with that direction, but we still have lethal this turn. I just don't want to lose to a Triple Dark Raid, realistically. Or not a Triple Dark Raid, a Daring Raid. That's just not at all what I want to have happen. We're going to go Triple Dark Raid of our own, and IG 2000 as the pickup, which is actually a pretty good one, to be honest, because we're going to hit in for 1 and play a Houndstooth. Didn't use our Tarkentown this game, which definitely was a mistake. There was a couple of times where I could have used it, but I was hoping for a little bit more of a valuable play. Let's see what our opponent grabs. Seventh Fleet Defender, huh? Devastator it is. It's going to go through that shield token, which is really important. And that's going to be GG. So we ended up getting there. Our opponent definitely had the more aggressive version of our Django red deck, and they really dominated us in the early game. The double ISB agent on turn 1 to deal with our unit, the Daring Raid in the following turn, into Tarkentown, into all this nonsense. But we definitely have the kind of mid-game variant of this, the War Juggernaut, the IG 2000. Like, that's definitely pulled their weight as we got deeper into the game, and they definitely outperformed our opponent's units. Really, really fun stuff. That was a fun matchup, actually. I definitely was, again, this is one of those things where you're like best of one. When I see Django Red, I'm not expecting first order Stormtrooper and sneak attack into droid missile platform or things like that, right? Definitely an odd combination, but certainly a powerful one, as you all saw. I mean, we barely were able to recover there and close out the game. So good stuff from our opponent, and that's the last matchup, guys. What did we learn with set for Django? I mean, guys, the new cards were insane. Like, every single one of them had a performance with, I think, with one exception. I will note the Von Reg's TIE Interceptor. I realized this after we had played a couple games, but it's not working on Carapace right now, so we didn't get to see it like kind of do its work, but it really works well, specifically with Surprise Strike. This just getting the raid 1 and Overwhelm can just really take out a unit and move on to hit the base with some damage. So that's pretty nice in general. But what we did see is like IG 2000 coming in and dealing a bunch of damage and potentially exhausting multiple units and being able to overwhelm through stuff. Boba Fett, a couple of critical games where we put that on a Houndstooth or a P38 or something of that nature to go ahead and knock out a couple points of damage onto another unit, kill it, and pump up our other unit. We saw the War Juggernaut just be devastating in so many situations where we just exhausted their entire board, and then suddenly it's like an 8-7 that's immediately readied up. Let's say we triple dark rated it, which I don't think we did in any of those games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that can definitely smack in for 8 and just be an entire board exhaust. Those types of cards have just been so fun, so fun. Definitely the War Juggernaut and IG 2000, I think, are great additions. I think you could go either way with the Von Reg's TIE Interceptor, as well as the Zygerian Starhopper. We didn't see that do too much work. It's just kind of to fill in the gaps. I think you definitely go with that Greedo. Although there's a lot of 1 damage pings going on, like Luke, ISB. You have just Cad Bane still. All those things are pretty good against Greedo. So maybe Greedo's not the way, but some really cool stuff. I think the only card that was kind of maybe could go something different was the Houndstooth, actually, as well as the TIE Interceptor, which we didn't get to see. But Houndstooth, it was a 4-3 that does open itself up for a few different units, whereas the 3-4 stat line is a little bit stronger in terms of durability because the 3-2 or the 3-4s out there don't just kill it. And yes, I know the Houndstooth will trade with it, but it doesn't trade with a 7th Fleet Defender necessarily. But more importantly is we are the aggressors usually, and so we actually want to keep our unit alive, even if they can kill it eventually. them using multiple actions is a good sign for us. So I much prefer that over playing a 4-3, I think. We didn't really get to see the exhaust and getting in value with that from the Houndstooth anyways. And sort of like that with Boba Fett as well. The units, that's something that I mentioned a lot of times. Oftentimes, that unit will be okay. And then sometimes it'll be amazing. But then there are oftentimes other units that are just decent, better a majority of the time, a little bit better than the Boba Fett unit. And it's similar with the Houndstooth, at least in my opinion. So really cool stuff with Jango Red, guys. Give it a shot. Definitely some interesting stuff here with Jango and the new cards. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all for the next one.